Hi, everyone. I was going to record this and upload it, but I find I do best when I'm on the spot live. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about something that's been on my mind a bunch lately, and I think you will find it really helpful. It's really an interesting sort of insight into a hidden emotion that we harbor, maybe consciously and unconsciously. But what I've observed that it does to the tissues in our bodies and how it keeps us stuck. I often say that the number one thing that I treat in people is stuckness. People get stuck. They get stuck in pain. They get stuck in certain frames of mind or emotions that don't lift. And uh, that's what we do in biofield tuning is we help people to get unstuck. And I've spent 30 years bouncing sound off people and listening to the ping back. And it's taught me what I call the language of vibration. There's this very pure language that our human bodies and our pets and really all of nature speaks this vibrational language that doesn't lie. And I've had the very fascinating opportunity of translating this language of vibration that I hear in the overtones and the undertones of the tuning forks, and basically using them like sonar and bouncing the sound off the body and listening to the ping back and observing that every emotion produces its own song and every pathology produces a noise, just like when your car starts to break then it starts making a funny noise, right? That's like, well, something's broken down over here, and the waves that it's giving off are janky. And so every way that our body can break down, it makes a particular pattern, and I can hear those in the forks. So over the years, I've identified a whole slew of emotions and also a whole slew of pathologies. And recently, over in the last couple months, I have uncovered something that's always been there, but I never really gave it a word and never really got like deep insight into it, or maybe perceived it as something else. Uh, so the emotion, the word that I use for the best word that I can find is rancor. It's spelled Rancor. And a lot of people don't even know what it means or have never heard it before. It has the same root as the word rancid. Right? If something's rancid, you're kind of like, ew, right, about it. You pull away. There's a kind of, a rejection. Um, and so we can feel rancor. Well, it's a really interesting thing. Maybe I just want you to take a moment to like think about something that you're like, about. It might be yourself. It might be like every time you see your thighs in the mirror, you feel that rejection and discomfort and judgment and pulling in, right? It could be somebody outside yourself, one of your siblings or a parent or a politician, right? So think about the things that make us go, ew. Like one of the things that makes me go, ooh, and there's a bit of a differentiation here. And I want to make this clear. Like I have a brother who is a spear fisherman. And in the many years that I was in the vanilla bean, he would go spear fishing and bring home a bunch of big fish. And then he would had a table out the back and he would slice them open and pull out their guts. Right? Ugh. Like I just don't dig guts. That's why I'm a vibe doctor and not a like surgeon or something, right? So there's a that isn't I don't know that that's called rancor so much. Rancor is more seething. It's more, where as opposed to like ew fish guts. But it has that same kind of like feeling, that pulling in, right? There's a tension that gets created. And what I've recently observed, like how this affects the tissues in the body, because every waveform that moves through us, sound sculpts matter, right? Because we see that in cymatics. So every waveform that's passing through your body is like creating the structure of your body. And so when we feel this particular feeling, and I know a lot of people who feel this particular way towards a particular politician, and whether you feel it towards yourself or whether you feel it towards someone or something else, the way that it impacts your tissues is the same. And this is really the same for every emotion. Whether it's outward directed, projected, or inward directed, your body feels it the same way. So what it does is it takes all the membrane linings, like the linings of your mucous membranes, the linings of your arteries, the lining of your digestive tract, and it puckers it. It puts this sort of like, it goes from being like a grape when it's supple and smooth into like a raisin. It's puckered. So you think about tissue that's puckered and how it loses its ability to flow, which a healthy body flows and a puckered body doesn't so much. This is part of what creates aging and stress too. So the antidote, the antidote to rancor, and what that does is because it creates stuckness. So any place where we don't feel love gets stuck because love is just flowing, right? It's like do like the river out my window. It's just doing its thing, and I'm not like, ew, humans. So we want to be in that. I'm just reading some comments here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for catching this live. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, because this has been on my mind, and I've been wanting to communicate. I even sat down to try to record a video about it a couple days ago, and I don't know, I said something stupid and had to stop it. I'm like, okay, if I want to get it out to you guys and talk about this, because I think it's so important, and I really, really, really want to invite you to, after you watch this, to go pay attention to your own mind. And the things that, whether it's about your own body, whether it's about the people around you, there's like a judgment, there's a lack of curiosity, there's a shutting down, there's a hunkering in it. There's often this self-righteousness in it. And it's really not good for you. Right? It's just not good for you. And I'm hearing I should do a tiny tuning. So I guess I'll do that since you guys are here and you guys are watching the recording. Because as I'm talking about it and as I'm inviting you to feel it, I'm really feeling it. And I especially feel it in my liver, because that's a place, because there's often anger mixed in with it. Like we're affronted, like insulted, indignant, angry. And so, yeah, it kind of makes the liver do that. So now that I've got my liver and maybe yours in a twist from talking about this topic, let us tune into the sound of rancor and the feeling of that. And I want you to really reflect on this. And I want, the antidote, like I said, is not easy. It's not easy to love this world. It's not easy to love this ugly, stupid, declining mess, right? But what does it need more than anything? It needs more love. And you having rancor towards it isn't making it any better, right? Like everything that sucks needs more love. It's such a simple thing. And yet, we go to great lengths to go around that. I'm like, no, give me a pill instead. I just can't love. Whereas if we could really like breathe in love and flow, and it would flow through us and it would flow out into the world, and it would make it better than sitting around rankling about it, right? Yeah. Okay. Love is the medicine. Madeline's actually very angry today. Yeah. Just want to let you know that a male can also be interested in tuning forks. I bought my first forks this week. Well, you should be, because all it is physics, man. I mean, like the fact that anybody has it in their head that a tone generator should not be handled by men. Like, what's that? That's just part of this weird spell, that like tuning forks are taboo or woo-woo or airy-fairy. It's like, it's a tone generator. There's no more woo-woo than hitting the triangle in the band. Like, let's just be real about what this is. But in a way, like the way I will them is sort of a magic tone generator, because I can like tune into particular vibes, and my forks will like tell me, like I'm about to tune into everyone's rancor, right? So that's kind of cool, sort of magic in a way, but not really, because everything that exists has to be supported by a law of nature. And the whole role of science is to understand the laws of nature, define them, elucidate laws of nature. So if my tuning fork can tune into a collective feeling through people who are here live and people who watch a video, there has to be a law of nature that supports that. And so it isn't even magic. It's just nature. Okay. So everybody just take this moment, close your eyes, and start to deepen your breath and just kind of notice how you feel. Notice where you might have identified that you have this going on in your body. You know, all rejection is ultimately self-rejection because it's all self. We're all just knots in a net. It's all one. And the more we can love and accept ourselves completely, then the more we can love and accept life completely. It's just a reflection. Okay, so I've got the 174, and I'm just going to tune in and give a listen. Okay, so just in those few strikes, what I noticed was that it was really subdued. Like generally, we don't spew our rancor because it's bad form to do that, right? And people who do spew rancor, you're like, it's not nice to be around. So a lot of us have learned to be nice and good and like keep that sort of like into ourselves. You know, so many of us when we were growing up, like if you said the word hate, people are like, oh, hate is a very bad word. Like, don't say you hate, right? So we don't say that we hate. We kind of like keep, for the most part, you know, and this is part of like why online gets so ugly is because in real life we're just not allowed to hate, but you can go online like you can be sort of anonymous in that, right? But I think most people who watch my channel, you know, you're probably internalizing this sort of thing and directing it at yourself, or even if you feel it towards others, it's not expressing so much, right? So I'm curious what you noticed in those strikes, because I'm partly training you to be somatically aware and perceptive of the language of vibration. Whenever you're hanging out with me, it's just your job to be curious, right? To just see what you notice. If you start overthinking, like, how does this work? That's like listening to a song that's making you dance. Be like, what is happening that's making me dance? Like, don't overanalyze it. It's just an instrument. You just want to experience it. Yeah. Okay, I don't see anybody. I hope I didn't drop, but here we go. I'm going to keep going. Oh, the other part was that it started to arise. So by the third strike, it started to come up, right? But then there was like this fear keeping it down. So I was like, oh, it's kind of scary to go here, right? That's how it felt. I'm like, well, I don't know if I should let this cat out of the bag. So, like, what? I don't know, right? So just to acknowledge that I'm about to let a cat out of a bag. I'm about to open a can of worms. I'm about to like spill something that you've been really keeping under wraps. And if you don't want to do that, then bail right now, because this might get a little like, whoa. But if you've done this with me before, you know that we go through discomfort and it's really uncomfortable. And we're like, why are we even doing this? And we come out the other side of it and we feel better and lighter. And this is very much like this. You've got to feel it to heal it. And it is uncomfortable. That's why so many people don't heal, because you think the healing supposed to be all like comfortable and shit, but it's not. It's really not. So you gotta just surrender to it and trust that if you hang tight with the process, okay, then we'll move through it and come out the other side. But if you don't want to have that experience, then catch you on another video. All right, so here we go. I still got the 174. We are, for those of you who are just joining, we are tuning into the emotion of rancor and how it informs the tissues in our body to kind of pucker. And if you don't know what rancor is, take a moment to Google it, okay, so you'll understand it. I'm going to get back to tuning. yourself be with whatever feelings are arising, even if they're uncomfortable. Like, just be curious about them. And I always like it when you drop in the chat what you notice, because I'm always curious. This is all like in the mouth, the teeth, the jaws, people who clench their jaws, grind their teeth. So you might want to stretch your jaw, yawn. Okay, I'm going to move to 144. You know, I get wiggly, which I'm embarrassed about, and I hold it back, actually. And I really let it go be too much. But, you know, when I start wiggling, like, that's energy moving. And I've observed that when I work with kids, they stretch, they move, they they make sound, and adults tend to just lie there like corpses. So I just want to let you, as we continue to go through this, like, liberate your inner 4 or 5-year-old. Like, nobody's looking at you. So you can just go where the sound wants to take you, because this is part of repatterning, is the body being able to like rearrange itself into a different order, right? So really see if you can surrender to letting that movement move through you. It's just got a lot of jitters, a lot of like, So some of you might be, you know, resonating that. It's not comfortable. We'll move through it. Maybe some tears kind of coming up a little bit, surfacing. Sometimes your eyes, what we call in Biofield Tuning, we call it leaking, where you're not sad or crying, but your eyes leak, they water. Right? This also gives rise to yawns. And maybe he's like breath is starting to open a little bit more. I am using hockey puck. And so rancor wrinkles the tissues, and love, attention, intention, determination, because I think in order to love ourselves and love this world, we need to be really damn determined, because the forces of entropy are strong, right? The forces of division are strong. And so you kind of got to like love with all your might, you know, in order to win. It's not easy. Division is easy. Hatred is easy. Rancor is easy. Loathing is easy. Loving thoroughly is really hard. But it's some medicine. If I had to give it words, it would be a deep anger toward having been parentified at home and infantilized in public by my mother. I have a very skewed experience of unconditional feminine love. Yeah, that's a perfect rancor kind of sentiment, right? I was like, that's persistent. It's like uncomfortable, but right, and it's hanging in there. Okay, so that happened, you know? Like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to get stuck in it? Is that rancor just going to hold you in that? Because forgiveness is the impetus that washes things away. Can you forgive your mother? Can you forgive yourself for choosing this incarnation, allegedly? Can you forgive the master story writer for writing this script? Can you actually be grateful for it and find what's in it that has made you a better person, has turned you into who you are now? Truly, it is forgiveness. Forgiveness is like the movement that brings in the love. And rancor is an absolute lack of forgiveness. It's an absolute attachment to the judgment, to the victimhood, to the being stuck in the duh. Instead of being like, oh, so, all right, here's what it is. What am I going to do? I have to forgive if I want to heal, if I want to go back into a state of flow, if I want my own tissues to enjoy a healthy state of flow, to enjoy being loved, right? Like a human pet wants to be loved. Okay, big breath, everybody. What would prevent a body being from receiving the tuning frequency? Well, your water. You know what I mean? You're receiving it no matter what. You're hanging out in it. If you were listening to music, nothing stops you from hearing and feeling the music. This is music. I just play weird songs that interact with you. Just look at it that way. I'm going to start again. Okay, so this is bumping up against resistance, right? This is that sort of like self-righteous anger that goes along with it. It's like, I was harmed, you hurt me, you're, making me feel unsafe. Like all of those things do have a valid basis from where they originated from. But adhering to that is injurious to your organism. And so part of emotional maturity is figuring out how to renegotiate it so that you can surrender into forgiveness, right? Whatever it is that you're holding on to and defending, like I could never have love for that politician. Never. Feeling it's like never. I'm going to hold this rancor in my body selflessly and not let it go. So maybe you have that towards yourself or towards a parent, right? So I want you to really take a deep look. Like, where do I defend my rancor? Yeah. Like it's a story. It's just a story. You made up a story, like living in this pattern, this story that supports it. Is it healthy? Is it necessary? Is there a different way you can look at it? Could you be putting that energy into making your environment more beautiful instead? Right? Because it takes a lot of energy to stay stuck and held in self-righteous certainty. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a little bit more of the 144 because there's still stuff percolating through here. And then I'm going to do the 144 and the 222 together. So stay here for that. Again, for those of you who are just dropping in, we are tuning the emotional rancor. And I would definitely encourage you to go back and watch the whole thing. We're in some discomfort at the moment, but continuing to work through it. We're contemplating where we self-righteously defend our judgment of someone or something or some aspect of ourselves. And so coming back to that edge of attachment to it, and again, seeing what you notice in your body. Yeah, there's like a self-identity in that kind of attachment, right? And so as I'm coming into this and we're poking at that self-identity, it's like, but I've defined myself by my victimhood or by my upset or by my clinging to this story or by my loathing of this or whatever. It's like, who am I if I'm not that? Right. So there's more people get really attached. This is what's going on in the world out there. I was like, my belief, like, right? Um, so yeah, I just feel like you can just just soften. Let's take a few strikes to just see if we can soften. Yeah, there's always hurt underneath this sort of thing too. Like this is sort of sinking down into the hurt, like the quiver of the lip, when a kid starts to cry. So that's underneath the is like a weh sort of feeling. Right, you feel that space starting to open up. So it kind of comes from the middle and expands outward. Good. All right. That's going to keep moving, but I'm going to pull out 222 now. So I call these two together the peacekeepers, right? And what I love about the 144 is that it's like, these are all the things that are wrong with you in like high def in the overtones and undertones. Really doesn't hold back in pointing it out and getting to work on it. The 222 loves you just the way you are. Loves you just the way you are. Like happy to hang, make you some tea, listen to your story, just be with you, right? And so the combination of the two is like a really, it's like a it really helps the body to like accept itself where it's at and move itself along at the same time, right? So because when we're too like then we get like and if you're too like then you get kind of so we really need the balance of both in our lives, right? Sort of integrity and the holding you towards integrity and like mercy and lovingness. So let's listen to the 222 just by itself first for those of you who haven't heard it. Yeah, the 222 is more soothing. More soothing. I mean, it kind of blooms inside of you. This sort of just gentle presence, right? It's like a temple bell. It's like a call to just presence. And then it can also bring stuff up too, a little stirring in the heart, making me want to wiggle. All right, so got that. Now we're going to go into the 144 and the 222 together. And I didn't know I was going to do this. I do have some microphones that like improve the sound, but I don't have them there in my office. So it's not going to, don't judge the sound quality, just feel the vibe. It's going back into the jaw and the throat here. Very tight in this part, right? So I think a big part of managing your rancor means that you need to find a way to express yourself more. Maybe it's singing, maybe it's toning, maybe it's journaling, but out loud, right? There's real movement in the throat that wants to happen here. And so you can't keep it inside. That's where we started, right? You're like keeping all this bad vibes inside. Your body is now wanting to like, ah. So maybe make a sound. Just do an ah. Do some ahs. Right? Just take a big breath in and ah on the way out. However it wants to come out. Really just let your throat ah, like sounds like you're throwing up sound. Ah. 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 Okay, just a couple more, and then I think we'll be wrapping up. Another ah, and as you're breathing and ahing, right, I want you to imagine and feel the sound helping all your tissues that have been wrinkled to smooth out, to open up into flow, to let some love in. Right? Light, feeling light and love and flow and movement, where those tissues were stuck, where those feelings were held. Right? It's okay that you felt that way, but we really want to help them to move through. And it feels like the best way for you to do that is with your voice. We have Sing the Body Electric actually available as like a self-study course now. It used to be you could only do it live, but for a limited time more, there's a 5-segment course you can get at singthebodyelectric.com where you learn all the toning. And then we have a sonic anatomy guide training coming up in December. So if you do the class self-serve, you can join us as a sonic anatomy guide, and then you get to tone to your heart's content. And seriously, this is the #1 health hack I've ever tried. Tuning forks are awesome. Voice is better, quite frankly, because you don't have to buy anything. You just got your voice. And I vitalize myself with my voice every time I open my mouth. I consciously energize different parts of my body in order to keep myself interested. I have an instrument, so I'm going to use my voice to play and move around and massage myself from the inside. And this is all the stuff that I learned in Sing the Body Electric. So, singthebodyelectric.com if you want to have some structure to the sound that your body wants to make. 42 different tones that you sound in different parts of your body. It's so fun and it's so vitalizing. Okay, there we go. Probably the last one, but maybe not. No, that's it. Okay, so one more big breath in and then ah on that exhale. And then just take a moment quiet. Just check in and see how you feel, see what you notice is different. Thanks for all of you guys who hung in there through that little journey. Yeah. So I just know I noticed more flow, like that feeling that I had in my liver when we started. That's moved through. I feel like I definitely am gonna go sing when I'm done with you guys. Um, yeah. So drop a note for me in the chat for your fellow souls who've been here with us on this little journey. This is important, right? This whole idea of rancor and identifying it. And you could, for those of you who use tuning forks, you can hear it's like this thing. Like it's like it sounds sort of in the fear family, but it's got this like quality to it. And I was working on somebody, but I was working on her root, and she for many years is very heavy in her hips and her thighs, and she had directed so much rancor towards herself, and it was part of what kept her stuck. And I think it's part of what creates cellulite, honestly. Think about that puckering of tissues. um, and she had lost a ton of weight, and really through self-love, like really truly. But as I was combing through her field, I could feel the history of that rancor and how it had kept her stuck, and how getting unstuck from that place was something that she did with love. We can't berate or criticize ourselves into a thriving state of health. Like that's not how it works. Love, baby. All right, what do you got? I feel like I need more. Go back and do it again. Singing is so healing. Singing kept me out of depression. Yeah, when my mom died, when I was 25, my mom died. And my mom was really cool and we were really close. And she's the first person in my life that had ever died. And God, it like hit me so hard. I was so heartbroken. Like I felt like all I could do was like lie down, face down on the floor. You know, my heart was so heavy. The only thing that got me up off the floor was singing. Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes. There's some other albums back then, 95. So yes, sing, sing, sing. Pull out your favorite albums, your favorite CDs, your favorite playlists. It's such good medicine. It's overlooked. My tight neck has adjusted. Yeah. What? No, but I am. So I feel a few people like you're like, I think that there's more, right? Is anybody else feeling that way? They're like, but there's something more. And I do feel it. It's sort of like almost like a cork on the back of the neck, like the top of the spine and the back of the neck. So stay here with me. For those of you just coming on, I'm going to do an interesting adjustment. Part of what stops us from feeling free to sing or free to emote or free to express is what I call the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper sits, where people get those humps on their back. And that's what the gatekeeper is, like a bouncer at a bar, and it's like decides like what emotions get to come up into the head for cognition or not. And a lot of people get in the habit of just letting their bouncer keep all kinds of unpleasant, unwanted emotions like rancor wanting to be expressed, like in bad form, right? So I feel like that's a cork that kind of wants to come out. And again, if you don't want to unleash anything, you can bail now. I've never done this before in a live tuning. If your instincts are telling you that I'm not ready to unleash that. I mean, obviously, we always want to do things really safely and with the best of intentions. But my medicine is strong, so. And something like this is significant because it's, let's just all make a point, make an intention to hold each other to that. Even as we free the voice, that we stay kind no matter what. Okay, just stay kind. Yeah. All right, here we go. To yourself and others. So imagine, put in your imagination, your awareness to that spot in the base of the neck, the top of the spine, top of the back. And let's do what we can to unplug it. All right. And what comes up is heat. And this feeling of being too much, just being too much. Like I was thinking about, I'm going out to dinner with some of my team tonight to celebrate my birthday because I was away last weekend. And I got this hat I got in Peru, and I got this cool white leather jacket, and I'm wearing these white cowboy boots. And I'm like, oh, I mean, if you put all that on, you're like, too much, And then I was like, where's that coming from? So, I don't think any one of you would say, yeah, Eileen, don't do that. It's too much, right? You'd be like, dude, live it up. You'd be like, put on the hat, put on the white leather jacket, like do it, right? Then I'm going to say the same thing back to you. Like if you got any of those feelings of too muchness, just like you don't want me to inhibit myself from being too much, I don't want you to do that either. Okay, so I'm going to give you permission to be too much as well. Because life is short. Yeah. A lot of power and force in here that I trust you will use for good. Yeah. Wow. So again, just be curious about what you're noticing. It could be anything. It could be like an internal awareness of how light is moving in your body. It could be noticing that you want to stretch or move. It could be noticing that you're suddenly hungry. So what are you noticing? But if you start like overanalyzing, you create static and noise and just a mess. So don't overanalyze. Just be curious with an open mind. Yeah. So what's coming here is that my good vibes are stronger than your bad vibes. Okay. And I'm not saying mine are better than yours. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying for you, I want you to say and kind of feel into this story of my good vibes are stronger than your bad vibes. Right? How do you defend yourself against someone else's negative energy? You just be stronger and better. Good. Like, hey, sorry you feel that way. I'm gonna have a little bubble of light here. Right? I'm bringing some love is moving through me now. So sometimes it's hard when we're sensitive and we're expanded and people come in and harsh our zen and then we get all like, eh. And the trick is to just stay loving, right? And not victim diminish like we did when we were kids. But to the best of our ability, like, I think I'm going to do a Sonic Sunday on my new word for God. And it's a hint. We've already said it. Yeah, just like, can you live in that story of being radiant with good vibes and stop being a victim of other people's bad vibes? And the only way we're going to make this world better is if we go out there and radiate good vibes into it. Not protest and be like, but like, like love stuff. That's the only way it's going to get better. You cannot hate something into beauty. Doesn't work. Yeah. There we go. Good. So kind of stretch around that back of your neck. Move your head. Feel more energy moving up your spine. Yeah. Good. Okay, that feels a lot better. That feels like something that wanted to happen. So we'll just finish up with just being in that release that we just created, that movement. And that what we just did is going to keep on reverberating. It's going to keep on opening that and like order it. Ooh, that's making me a little emotional because it's really a powerful movement here. Yeah, trust yourself to give good vibes and to be kind, even as you have more energy and love and movement, or really power, more energy, right? Do you guys feel that? Because I feel that, but I don't want to think I'm like making this up. But everybody feels a lot more vital to me, and that all that energy that was in that in the beginning feels like it's really open and moving and happier. So that's what I'm noticing. Yeah. Charlotte says she's feeling it for sure. Yay. Yeah, I am glad that we did this together. Your core feels strong. Yeah, my core feels strong, right? But we're because we're all TKD before. That's not a position of strength either. It's not real strength because our strength is really in our resilience and our adaptability and our responsiveness. And if we're stuck like this, then we lose all of that, right? Um, okay, so this is my ask of you. Like, find a way to teach one person you know who holds a lot of rancor. Maybe send them to this video, or figure out how to love them anyway. Maybe figure out a way to induce more love in them because you have a better understanding now of like what's going on in their tissues and their mind. What fork would help my son's lower back? The sonic slider is just a really great starting point. You can use it on the body. I'd get it with a boot, probably a circuit boot or a contour boot. Contour boot is more soothing. Circuit boot is more stimulating. It's at the biofieldtuningstore.com. The link is below. And you can use that on the body, and you can use it in the field too. So give that a try. All right. Okay, everybody. Well, I think that was great to hang out. Thank you for being here. If you missed the beginning, go back and watch it. Drop a thumbs up. And I'm not 100% positive, but it's looking like I will be in on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern for Sonic Sunday. Would love to see you there live. And yeah, and you'll learn more about my new word for God. All right, everybody stay well. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, yeah, take care.